Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So it's not over. The state of Indiana is still open to redistricting. This is going to be like the last chance that they probably realistically have, but you have plenty of people because they understand that Donald Trump is going to endorse their primary challengers against them, and it's honestly much easier than people would think to defeat people in state legislatures that are these weak rhinos. We've done it all over the country. Over the past few years, we've made a lot of progress at that level, more so than we've made at like the national level, even though we've made plenty of progress there too. But you're seeing the Republican-led legislature there possibly reconvening. They're aiming for 9-0, which again, that would be huge. It would give them 2 seats. And on top of it, you're not only just seeing that, but you're seeing the state of Utah. What is Utah doing? Utah is now appealing the rhino judge order and seeing if they can manage to draw a new map in Utah that is going to be able to pass, that's still going to keep every Republican seat Republican. And then assuming, 2030 rolls around, the new census, they're going to add a seat. It's going to be very difficult to draw a 5-0 map in Utah. At that point, there will be a Democrat vote sink, but it's probably just going to be a Democrat seat in California that ends up becoming a Democrat seat in Utah, and Utah gets an extra GOP seat if this is not going to be able to be overturned on appeal. But a gain of 3 possibly on the horizon for the Republicans in a very, very razor-thin fight for the House. We will cover what this means after the break, but really quickly, I have to tell you guys about my friends over at Allegiance Gold. While the media is obsessing about Trump's tariff, something big is brewing and nobody's talking about it except right here. Because under new Basel III international banking rules, gold has officially been reclassified as a Tier 1 asset, placing it on the same level as cash in U.S. Treasuries. Translation, gold is money again. Just in the first quarter, thousands of tons of gold were quietly moved back to the U.S. from Europe. Meanwhile, central banks around the globe are stockpiling gold at record levels. That's not a coincidence, it's a signal. So if the world's most powerful financial institutions are hoarding gold, why aren't you? Don't wait. Call Allegiance Gold, the trusted experts that I've partnered with that have the highest ratings and accolades. They'll help you secure real physical gold and silver delivered straight to your home or placed securely inside your IRA or 401k. Go to allegiancegold.com/redeagle or call 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191 and mention Red Eagle. You could be eligible to receive up to $5,000 in free metals, but only if you act now, because gold is freedom, gold is sovereignty, and as of now, gold is officially money. That's allegiancegold.com/redeagle or call 844-790-9191 today. All right, guys, back to the video. So right here, this is the current House map, and this is an aggressive Democrat gerrymander, as you're seeing in the state of Illinois. It's not really looking, in my opinion, to be the most likely course of action, but I do have Virginia offsetting Florida, as we see here. So what this would result in is a 213 for the Republican map with 222 for the Democrats. This is like your average scenario. You're seeing a D+5, D+6 national environment, which it could be greater than that. It could be less than that. But regardless, here is just a median scenario. And if Republicans really are able to get these wins, and they're able to go out there in Utah, and they're able to overturn on appeal the ruling that you saw there, they would get an additional seat in Utah, and that would push them closer towards their majority. And on top of it, you talk about Indiana. If they really go 9-0, get all the seats like R+14 or more, which it's feasible to do. You could look at this map here. It's very unlikely that this particular map would break. It would take like a D+20 year for the Democrats to really pick up seats and have the whole district just completely break. This is not like a dummy mander or anything like that. It's unrealistic that under almost every circumstance that the Democrats are going to be able to break this map right here. So if Republicans do that in Indiana and they get both of those seats, or even if they get one of those seats, it would still be huge. But if they get both, 219 for the Dems, 216 for the Republicans, which again, it's not good enough to get them there, but there's still plenty of seats that are currently colored blue that they possibly could end up picking up. Let's say the district in Iowa right here, if Marionette Miller Meeks holds on, because for some reason she does better in midterm years than presidential years. She almost lost the district. Trump won by 8, but she had no problems in 2022. And then this district here in South Texas, you see the Republicans hold a Trump plus 10, Trump plus 11 seat. That would be huge because that would be enough to get Republicans the House, assuming they win all of the other seats. But I will say this, here is what makes this particularly frustrating, because you had an opportunity to do what Republicans might still possibly do in the state of Indiana, in the state of Ohio. And you could have seen Republicans go out there and eliminate the Akron area district currently held by Amelia Sykes, and you could have had them split Cincinnati in a way that would look less ugly but more effective, and it would give the Republicans 13 seats, but they failed to do that. It's unlikely they pick up the Cincinnati seat this time around. It is kind of not really trending too much to the right. Maybe they get it in 2028 with J.D. Vance on the ballot. It's very possible because he is from that region. But still, the Cleveland area district, it's unlikely that they're going to be able to get that, or technically the Akron area district. They could get it. It's going to be a little bit tougher for them to go out there and do so. So 218 to 217, as it stands right now, that could have been the map, but still, Republicans being weak, Republicans being stupid, that's going to cost them. And it honestly could cost them all 3 of those seats here. This is not some, preliminary victory lap that we are doing here for the Indiana map. It could happen. We'd like to see it happen, but we've also seen the fact that Republicans are weak and caving, and some of them in Indiana are already caving. I don't know what garbage can they found this guy in, but Donald Trump puts out probably his best tweet of all time. He calls Tim Walz a quote-unquote retard, as he is, and then he throws a temper tantrum that Trump used the word, and he said that, well, this is offensive because I have a disabled daughter. And it's like, Trump isn't calling your daughter the R word. He is calling Tim Walz the R word because he is one. And when people say words like retard, they're not thinking of some guy in a wheelchair or somebody with Down syndrome. When somebody calls something gay, colloquially, usually they're not thinking of a homosexual. And more importantly, when somebody says someone is lame or this thing is lame, they're not saying that's a guy that can't walk. These are colloquial terms to describe certain things. If somebody is dumb, somebody is slow, the proper term, at a more reasonable time, 50 years ago in this country, was mentally retarded before everybody threw a temper tantrum about the term. It's like a colloquialism. And the notion that anyone would be offended by that term means that the term probably applies to them more so than them throwing a fake temper tantrum, pretending to be outraged on behalf of your own daughter, who you are effectively calling that word, ironically enough, in the process. That's what he's doing. Well, if it was Donald Trump who was being called this word by a high-profile Democrat, do you think he would be rushing to redistrict on Trump's behalf? Of course not. This guy's a rhino scumbag. His wife has donated money to Frank Mervan, who is one of the 2 Democrats that currently sits, from Indiana in Congress. And it's like, this guy's a scumbag. I don't know how he's in office. They need to primary his ass out of there because you can't have this weak leadership that is preventing us from getting things done when it's right in front of you. And you see the Democrats are doing it. They've been doing it long before Texas decided to correct the wrongs in the census earlier this year. They've been doing it for a long time. You saw the Hochulmander. You saw a lot of maps that they've been putting out while, crying foul, saying it's the Republicans that have been doing it. They've been the worst offenders for a very, very long time, especially when it comes to mid-decade redistricting. There has not been a cycle going back like a decade and a half where Republicans have benefited. And these people are trying to make sure that that streak continues, which is disgusting. But it's a good thing the GOP has good leadership like Donald Trump, who put out that statement on Thanksgiving. And it was important what he said here, too, that's worth touching on very briefly, because you had the horrific tragedy in Washington, D.C. that was caused by an Afghan national. And Trump is saying we need remigration, which is a term that I would not have expected him to use, but he went there. And then he said, I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries. So if he makes that happen, that would be a massive, massive victory. I know it's rhetoric, but still the fact we have the president even mentioning a full-on permanent immigration moratorium shows how far we've come. And you wouldn't have gotten that in any hypothetical era where Donald Trump was not on the political scene, and that is huge. So we'll see about redistricting, because his agenda is important, as you know, and it's important to codify as much of it into law as you possibly can, which is why, you go out there and let's just say from the current map, they add that seat in Iowa and they add that seat, or technically these would be seats in the case of Iowa they would hold, but then Texas, if they gain, well, that would be huge because they get to 218. And that doesn't even take into account the possible incoming Supreme Court ruling of the Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. If that goes, Republicans will gain 5 to 10 seats on net. It will be huge. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.